come the All-Ireland series.
I noticed that several journalists and several newspapers were quoting extracts from your book that, you know, this Cork team never were afraid of Tipperary. Psychologically, you seem to be very sharp and not afraid of Tipperary.
Yeah, well, maybe, Marty, like a lot of your colleagues, you know, they tend to use those things out of context. You know, I'm a Cork hurling man, but since I've been very young, I've been told that Tipperary were hurling people, and, you know, grew up, if you like, in stories of Cork and Tip, and I always respected Tipperary as a hurling county, and, you know, been lucky enough to play against them on many occasions, and nothing has ever changed my view of that. Tipperary is a hurling place, they're a proud place, and, you know, they might be down tonight, but a bit like Cork, they'll find their way back.
I was talking to Dennis Walsh after the league final, and he said he wasn't that disappointed. He pointed out to me that he had learned a lot after that league final defeat. What was it like over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I suppose, you know, every game you play, you want to win it. Obviously, we were disappointed, fairly disappointed with the second half performance. Having said that, though, as a hurler, you're judged on days like today, and this is the championship in the game we play, and this is the one that you'll be judged in. So, you know, whilst we were disappointed to lose the league, this is where our real focus was.
Well, you were brilliant today. Well done to you and to all your team. Well done, Donald. Yes.
Thanks, Marty. Fascinating stuff. If there was a Man of the Match award for interviews, you'd have to consider Donald there.
Like, what a leader. What a leader, what an influence he has on, you know, you take the great leaders, you take Shefflin and Kilkenny, Anthony Daly when he was with Clare. He's in the same class as those. I remember 3 years ago when he went into the dressing room half-time after being sent off, and the players came out in the second half, and they're actually crying coming out on the field. He'd them driven absolutely ballistic.
He was almost in tears there himself, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it means to him.
He's a brilliant guy. He's a brilliant guy.
You could see what it meant to the Cork players. A bit more at stake there than the first, as Jared said,
but you need men like that. You need brilliant leaders like that.
The biggest thing there, though, he was very gracious about Tipperary, right? This is the 80th clash between Cork and Tipperary today. Cork won in were 36-35 to Tipperary with 7 draws and 1 game abandoned. So it's now 37-35. So the history that was in there between the teams.
That's the game I want.
I'm not going to tell you about that one, right? Not going to tell you about that. But it shows the rivalry that's there, but the graciousness afterwards as well. Tip will be back. There's no doubt about it.
But Tomas, at the same time, if you look at last year going on, what is lacking in Tipperary? Real leaders that are you still can point to 5 or 6 real leaders in Tipperary.
But you look
Cork have an abundance of brilliant leaders.
Today, Tip off the middle, change the full back, took off the centre back.
But as I'm saying, where were the leaders?
Change centre forward, change the full forward.
Could leaders emerge from today? In fairness, there's a lot of youngsters there, and maybe a defeat like today.
Today is a defining day. I was saying at half-time, the second half was going to define. This is a defining day for Tip. Now, what do they do after the day? Do they just go backwards, or do they really sit down now, see what's gone wrong? They hadn't the drive that they had in All Ireland last weekend. They were a pale shadow of that team. They've got maybe
the hurling was very, very poor today. The first touch was very, very poor. They struggled under the high ball, particularly with Izaki, right? And it took him a good while to change Padraig Maher out of there when he was in trouble, right? There was 2 goals gone in before the change was actually made, and that was something I thought that they were going to do very much at the start of the game, you know. And Paul Curran, to his credit, did particularly well.
Cyril, one element, sorry if I could bring it up, Jerry referred to the movement of the Cork players. You notice the Cork forwards, the pressure they put on the Tipperary backs. Talk us through this a bit.
Their work rate is unbelievable. Now, this ball should have been cleared. There's 2 or 3 around here to be blocked down and we go back again. Again, they seem to have more players on the pitch, but they haven't really. That's just a sign how much they were up for the game. And as Dennis Welch just referred to there in his clip as well, they kind of took the game to Tip from the very start. Every ball, every break. Now, they did get the breaks, but they made their breaks. They were so much up from the game that they put their impression on the game from the very start. And they took over from the start.
Cork made things happen today. Tipperary were waiting for somebody to get things happening for them. And when Owen Kelly was tied up and when Lark Corbett was tied up, it never actually happened for them. They waited for things to happen.
If you want to see the difference in the Cork team, if you think...
we can get reaction from Tipperary, so let's go back down to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Paul Curran is with Marty.
Thank you very much, Des. Paul Curran, thank you indeed for doing this interview. What's it like below in that dressing room? You're a bit shell-shocked, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's not easy, to come up here after defeat, but someone has to do it. We're all very, very disappointed down below. We didn't see it coming. We came here to win, but I suppose we knew Cork were going to come for us, and they did. They just didn't stop. And I believe they were the better team on the day, so fair dues to them.
What do you think went wrong? Was it Izaki or Halpine causing problems? Was it the short puck outs? Give me just very briefly your analysis.
I just think it was one of those days. They beat us all over the field, so you can't look for excuses. The best team won on the day, but I just feel disappointed for all our fans, you know, coming down the long trip. And but I believe we'll be back. You know that there is stuff in this team, and we just have to knuckle down. We're going to be well down the pecking order now, and we know it. But we'll be back.
Well, you were in the All-Ireland final last year. This is a good team. You don't become a bad team overnight.
Yeah, I suppose, Marty, that was last year, you know, but maybe I don't know, we weren't thinking about last year, but we know we have a good team. We just didn't perform today, and that happens, and we're really, really disappointed, but we know we're going to put the heads down and we're going to come again, so just we're not going to write ourselves off.
Well, Paul, thank you very much for doing that. And Liam Sheedy is joining us here. Liam, thank you very much for joining us, Liam. Commiserations. It just didn't work out for Tipperary today, did it?
No, we can have no complaints, Marty. You know, I mean, Cork showed all the appetite, showed all the hunger. You know, it's unusual for this team, I guess, to be beaten in every sector of the field. And today we just couldn't get our hands on the ball. And you know, fair play to Cork. As I said, we definitely weren't complacent. We weren't, you know, taking our eye off the ball coming into this game. We knew how big this game would be for us. But, you know, we're just really, really disappointed because, you know, we just didn't perform to any level. But, you know, you have to give full credit to Cork. They just didn't let us play today, and, you know, we're immensely disappointed.
It was almost a complete performance by Cork for the first time probably in 5 years. But Sakio Halpine caused you serious problems, didn't he? Particularly in the first half.
Yeah, he did. You know, he's a handful. He's a big man. He caught some great ball. You know, full credit to him. And you know, I mean, I suppose last year, you know, we felt we had the upper hand in the inside back line. But today, it wasn't just, you know, it wasn't down to one individual either, Marty. You know, you'd have to say overall, Cork in every sector of the field were on top. You know, and the ball was just being ploughed in. And you know, at some stage, something has to give. You know, and you know, at the end of the day, the game came down to goals, and Cork got the goals. You know. They got the goals to win matches, and goals do win matches. You know, our forward line typically don't come off the field not scoring a goal. So, as I said, you know, it's a bad day for us. But, you know, previously, I guess we'd find ourselves thumped out to the championship now. You know, it could be over. We could be going home with nothing to play for. So, you know, Cork were down this road 2 years ago and found themselves back in Croke Park in September. So, we've got a chance to regroup. You know, these guys are good players. They're a good team. We feel we didn't do ourselves justice today, and thankfully, as I said, we have a chance in the, you know, we've got to go the qualifier route now, but we'll come back, we'll get ready, and as I said, we'll look forward to getting back on the pitch again and hopefully correcting the thing next time.
Well, I have absolutely no doubt you will be back in the championship very quickly indeed. Liam Sheedy, thank you very much.
OK, thanks for that, Marty. Interesting stuff from the Tip lads, and we'll get reaction from our panel after this. Cork's stunning 10-point victory over Tipperary, and Tomas Sakio Halpine is the man who's going to make the headlines tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say over the last 2 or 3 weeks, certainly, I mean, he's taken an awful lot of criticism around Cork, being honest with you, and I would have loved to be in the Zaki household maybe for the last couple of weeks. And I mean,